In this video, I'm going to show you how to practically use AI video generation tools for your business by taking the exact different elements that you want, so a logo, a product, a person, and merging them and including them in your final video generation. Over the past few years, AI video generation has gotten exponentially better. We went from Will Smith struggling to eat spaghetti into these hyper-realistic, just stunning, really incredible, almost works of art that are all completely generated by AI. But on this channel, what we focus on is not the movies that could be made with AI, but how it actually impacts you and what you, as a student, as an employee, as an entrepreneur, or a creative, can do right now to use AI video tools to improve your life, to save time, be more productive, make more money, whatever it is you want to achieve. Now, the big trend that we've seen recently, in addition to just the models themselves getting better, is the integration of these AI tools and models, or really what I interpret as the next generation of AI tooling. And that next gen is the focus on multimodal capabilities, multimodal as in many models. We're getting to the point where you can have a photo model, a video model, a text, all these different, an audio model as well, all these models working together, all seamlessly integrated into a single interface and platform so that you can go ahead and create anything and everything that you want with these AI tools. So there are three big categories of you guys watching this. There are people involved in their business, whether it's one they start or another one that you work for. There are creators, so people who create content on social media. And finally, there are designers. So whether as a hobby or as a job, you create, you design visuals for work or again for fun. So what we're going to do in the next few minutes is explore a few really interesting use cases and demos across each of those categories. So business, creator, and designer, so that you can walk away from this with at least one new workflow, one use case, one tool that you can go and use. And we're going to do that with the Hailuo platform. They are one of the leading AI video generation models. And they have that kind of one-stop shop suite of models and features integrated into one platform that, like I just said, is where I think all kinds of AI applications are going. So there's image, video, audio functions, text to video, image to video, first and last frame control on video, and more that we're going to get into. And that is kind of the suite of modalities that we're going to pull together into some workflows and use cases for you. And so these models and the Hailuo models are up to producing 1080p footage, so full resolution or quality like you would see on YouTube today. And they can do the kind of advanced physics generation and elements that you really need to create those hyper-realistic looks. And I know a lot of you run businesses or are high up in businesses of your own. And the Hailuo Max plan is the only tier 1 AI video generation product that offers unlimited generation. So if you work for an enterprise company, if you have your own large business, we're talking unlimited generation for an awesome rate. Now, with that in mind, learning is always better by doing versus just listening to me ramble on here. So you can follow along with the exact demos that we're looking at in this video. And you can do that by heading to hailuo.video or click the link in the description. It is completely free to sign up while you follow along with this video to just feel it out and give it a test spin. And of course, that unlimited generation max plan is available as well. And that said, we're gonna get into our first category of demos for business people. Okay, so this right here is the homepage, and you can see the different multimodal capabilities on the left. So video, image, audio right here versus video. Now, we want to focus first on the business use cases, and there are a few that I'm going to double click on, so more on the design side and concepts in a little bit. What I want to focus on first is a workflow that I personally find super useful. What we're going to do for that is we're going to go in the video tab right here, and then we'll do image to video. And what we can do there is basically animate any kind of product images that we have. And what that does, it is essentially free B-roll about your company or your product. And so I searched product image e-commerce, just something simple on Google here. We'll go with these shoes. So this image of shoes, I'll download that and then I'll paste that right here. And what I'll say is
generate a camera shot that moves around the shoes for sake of B-roll. We'll give it a very simple prompt, just see what it does. We'll go 6 seconds and 768p. Now this is interesting. What it's going to do first is recursively optimize its own prompt. So it has one model that goes and looks at the prompt and then says, hey, how can I improve this prompt to make it better for when I feed it into the video generation, right? The image to video model. So this is kind of how as well these different models seamlessly work together under one platform. Okay, let's see our video. So you can see, again, this is the exact type of quality, the hyper realism that you would see in any kind of ad, like think of a food ad on TV, for example. And that was just from our one still image of a product. If you're creating any ads, website backgrounds, content, this is super useful for exactly that type of work as a business owner. But now for a second workflow, let's say you don't have this base image, you don't have a product mockup. Well, no worries on that front. What we can do is we can go to the image tab, to image generation, and then we can describe very specifically, and this is the key, it comes down to the prompting or the prompt design here, to describe our product and get some mockups that we can use to go create things like videos. So what I'll do, I'll hop into ChatGPT and I'll say, give me product specs for boots. Come up with one on your own. Don't give me too much detail because ChatGPT likes to do exactly that. Okay, so here's a simple list of, like, let's say again, you have a product, you want some mockups for it. We can generate this. Now we're not describing the scene here. So what we can say is just give me a product mockup shot. But what we could do if we wanted to is go ahead, right now it's creating 4 images. We could create with specific backgrounds or sceneries in mind, and then convert that type of thing into videos, use it in product images, social media backgrounds, just everything in the domain of business where you need images of your product. And this is obviously a lot cheaper than a studio. Okay, so here are those 4 mock-up photos. These look awesome. I mean, again, this is hyper realistic. This looks exactly like reality. It's not like these AI images looked a long time ago. And this is something you could literally put on a product page on your website. And that was one prompt that wasn't working through and trying to fix little things. And again, if we want to recreate, we recreate. If we want different backgrounds, we go ahead and insert different backgrounds. But again, for any type of design content, that is not something 99% of the time you should be doing today without AI in a real world setting, because you can get results like this. There are some unique situations where you do want to do that with human labor and talent in a studio. But apart from that, this is how you do it. Okay, now there's one final use case I want to double click on for business users specifically here, and that is logo design and logo variations. That's something really common that's endemic to every business out there, right? You need a logo, you need a name, and you often need to kind of reconfigure it slightly based on the kind of project or the kind of content, whether a website, whether a social media profile that's being created. Now, if we go back to the homepage right here, we can click on Agent in the bottom left. And then what I can do here is just say, hey, come up with ideas for my logo design. If you already have a logo, you can just upload an image of it and say, come up with different versions, or tell it specifically what you want. Let's say here that we just want to come up with different concepts for it. Come up with ideas for my logo design. My business name is, let's say, CoolX, and we sell cool/friendly software. That's a horrible business idea, but we'll run with it, and let's let that go. So what the agent is doing, it creates a plan, and then it's going to start creating those design concepts. So we have an infinite canvas over here, so we can create as many images, videos, prompts, etc. as we want, and that'll be right here on this screen. So now it's feeding that down to the image generation model, and that's going to generate a variety of different concepts. Okay, and here are the logos that were generated, all pretty straightforward, all look good. I think I'd go with number 1 here, to be honest, on the left. Let me know which one you like. But there we go. That's just generating a logo, improving a logo, resizing a logo with AI.
So that was business. Next up are the creator use cases.
Okay, now I want to focus on the creator applications here. So let's say you create content on social media. What specifically can you do to save you some time on the editing side, on the production side with AI? I think number one, lowest hanging fruit is B-roll shots. Again, things like drone shots. If you don't have a drone, there's a lot you could do there. So let's just generate, let's say you're doing a video, a travel video on vacation. And this is just on the homepage. So this is text to video as opposed to image to video, which we just did. I'll say generate a drone B-roll shot flying over a jungle at sunset. Now you typically want to be a lot more detailed than this. I'm just going to give it something very basic and we'll go ahead and see what is created as a stress test. Okay, now I want to note as well, I'm generating this in 768p right now. What I could do for full resolution, I just click on settings in the bottom left, click on 1080, and it will go ahead and do that for me. Okay, here's our generated shot. We could plug in a literal location like the Amazon rainforest if that's where your video is, but just check this out and take a look. This looks awesome. Again, hyper realistic. And that is the type of B-roll that you could use in your video. Again, just make sure you're on 1080p to use that in a finished product. Now, that is the B-roll side of it. The other workflow that I want to focus on here is thumbnail design concepts. That's something that is harder to do manually for sure. And just to get an idea of what you want to make, that's something that's really useful to do with AI before you go ahead and manually work on that final version. So what we'll do over here, we'll go back into the agent and we'll say, hey, I have a video. Let's jump into my channel here on YouTube. We'll pick a video and let's go to this one. I'm going to copy that title and I'm going to say, I have a video called How to Build Profitable Apps with AI in 2025. Come up with different thumbnail designs, let's say design concepts for my video. Okay, so what it is it's separating the plan or the prompt into different specific concepts like futuristic concept set and one about app development. And now we'll see some of those thumbnail concepts. Okay, and here are those concepts. How to build profitable apps in 2025. A lot of different concepts here. And again, this tells you this is that starting point for the iteration of what do I like, what don't I like, and how do I want to go ahead and build this myself if you are a creator.
And finally, number 3 out of 3, saving the best for last, we have the designer use cases.
Okay, for the final demographic here, maybe you work in design or you work in one of those creative areas as a hobbyist, as a professional where you have to deal in design style work. Obviously, there's a lot you can do here with AI. I want to focus on 2 core things. Now, the first of those is going to be angles. And this goes back to what we were doing before with a product right here. What the problem is that you often see if you have to say, let's say you're working on a website for a client or for the company that you work for, that maybe you want the product in a slightly different way or you want a slightly different background. So what we can do here is we can just download without watermark this image. I'm going to upload this back into here. So what I've done, I've gone back to the agent. I've uploaded my image of my product here. And what I want to say is generate this exact image or product. However, I want it facing straight toward me and with a bluish background. So if you're a designer, again, you don't want to go and get a reshoot done where the person has to go into a studio, take the product, angle it toward you, take the photo and send it to you. Just do this and you can save all of that work for yourself. Let's see what this ends up looking like. Okay, and here we can see, again, the exact same product facing toward us with a blue background. And again, you just saved all that kind of studio work. Now that's just a little angle variation, but what if we want to scale that up? What if we want full-on product mock-ups with radically different designs, angles, looks? Well, we can do the exact same thing just at a grander scale. So what I'm going to say here, for example, generate product mock-ups for this product with very different backgrounds from different angles. Be thorough, and we'll see what it comes up with there. Okay, here we can see those finished mock-ups. Let's zoom in on these. And again, this is exactly what you as a designer would need if you're creating ads, if you're creating website designs, product pages, all kinds of things, and you can do this with any kind of product as well. Now there's a lot more here. Obviously, this is a pretty comprehensive platform, and honestly, just scrolling through here is kind of fun to see what other people are creating. I also want to just mention the API briefly, because if you do any of this kind of work with AI, then what I want you to think about is kind of a second order, hey, can I automate this? And if you can automate it, that's this whole other productivity boost right there.
So there we go. You have seen a lot by this point. And my hope for you is that at least one of those workflows is something that you can immediately implement in your business or your life or your hobby and see a measurable return, whether on money, on productivity, on time, or on creativity there. Now, if that's the case, you can try all of that completely for free by creating an account at this link on the screen or the link in the description, or check out the Max plan for completely unlimited video generation. They're the only tier 1 video product on the market to offer that. And these are the other plan prices. That said, I appreciate y'all being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.